Hello and welcome back. Barbara Ragsdale here, close to my heart maker. This video is the cardstock cutting instructions for the Good Life scrapbooking workshop. So if you purchased this particular scrapbooking workshop kit and you need help or you need a visual instruction to page 4 of your cutting guide, which is all the cardstock that came in with your kit, this is the video that we're going to be using. Also, if you watched my pattern paper, you know in front of me I have stacks for each particular layout because this kit does create 2-page 12 by 12 layouts. So I have stack number 1, 2, and 3 right in front of me. So as I cut each piece, I'm going to be basically sorting them. I'll also tell you if we're going to be cutting the light side of the paper or the dark side, because as you know or may not know, the cardstock, close to my heart cardstock paper, let me show you the Harbour color because it's just easier to show. You're going to get 3 sheets of this cardstock paper in with your kit. If you flip over one of the sheets, you'll see that there's a lighter side and a darker side. And so that is true for all the other colors that we're going to be using. So I'll tell you which side we'll be cutting, but let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, it's pretty simple. These are pretty easy cuts. This one right here has some pretty small ones, but we'll get through it together, okay? So the first piece that you want to grab is your sheet of Mink, which is the lightest color that you have in your kit. And so let's grab that and let me set all these other pieces aside. Okay, so your sheet of Mink we have. And the first cut, let's see, we're going to be cutting on the light side. And I don't see, I'm just looking at this because it does tell you if there's which side you're cutting. It looks like all of these we're going to be cutting on the light side. So if you help figuring out your light side, right now I'm on the dark side. But if you flip it, see how your back side is a lot lighter than the other side I was showing? This is the side we need to be cutting with. Okay, so flip it to where it's on the light side. And our first cut, get your paper in your trimmer. Your first cut, and let me see if I can bring this down a little bit so you can see it a little closer. The first cut's going to be at 1 3/4 inches all the way down. So 1 3/4 inches all the way down. Hopefully I'm going slow enough for you so that if you're cutting along with me, we can knock this out together. So this 1 3/4 by 12-inch piece that we just cut is 2B. 2B. So put that with your stack of 2s. Get your paper back in your trimmer. Cut another one at 1 3/4 inches all the way down. This is 2L. So this 1 3/4 by 12-inch piece, the second one is 2L. Put that with your stack there. And oh my goodness, these are the 4 really, really small cuts, you guys. And let me double check and make sure what that number is. It's 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. Oh my goodness. We're going to cut 4 of them at 1/4 of an inch. Whew. All right, let's do it. 1/4 of an inch. They're so small. By the way, these are all going to be 3 with project 3. So let me go ahead and cut them and then I'll tell you what numbers and letters they are. Ooh, we're cutting 4 of these. Cut 4 of these at 1/4 of an inch. I'm so glad all the other cuts are bigger cuts. These small cuts get the best of me sometimes. But it could be worse. It could be shorter than 1/4 of an inch. It could be like a 16th, 5/8, All right. So these 4 1/4 inch strips by 12 inches long, these are all going to go to number 3, project number 3. One of them is 3B, one's 3D, one's 3L, and one's 3N. Okay. And when we go to assemble it, we'll figure it out. Okay. We just need to know what page they go with, right? All right. So this piece that's left, let's get it back in our trimmer. where the short side's along the top. We're going to cut it at 6 1/4 inch. And where's my 1/4 inch? I think that's my 1/4 inch right there. That should be my 1/4 inch. Okay, 6 1/4 inches all the way down. And then turn it where the long side is along the top and cut it at 4 1/2 inches. So this 6 1/4 by 4 1/2 is 3F. 3F. Okay. Keep your paper in your trimmer the way it is and cut another one at 4 1/4. This one is 3G. 3G. This piece that's left, let's turn it to where the long side is going along the top. And because this should already be 3 1/4 inches wide, which it is, but we need to turn it and cut it at 3 1/2 inches. So we're going to have a piece that's 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches, and this is 3P. 3P. This piece and this piece of Mink that's left, those are scraps. So you can put that with your scraps pile. The next piece we're going to be cutting is the Toffee, which is, it's this one right here. And let me see what side we're cutting on. We're going to be cutting on the dark side, which make sure we're on the dark side. We're on the dark side. So make sure you're on your dark side. And the first cut, let's get our paper and our trimmer, is going to be at 4 1/4. 4 1/4 all the way down. Right down. Okay. And then turn it to where your paper is long side along the top and cut one at 4 1/4. This is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. This is 1F. So stack of ones. Let's cut another one at 4 1/4. The second one that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 is 1M. 1M, stack of ones. This piece that's left should measure, it's already 4 1/4 inches wide that we cut it the first time. Make sure your short side is along the top, and we're going to cut it at 3 1/4. 3 1/4. So you're going to have a piece that's 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. This is 1G. 1G. And this little bitty piece that came off is scrap. Now let's put our paper back in our trimmer. Don't mean to slam that down. And let's cut it down at 4 1/4 again. So 4 1/4 all the way down. Let's turn our paper where the long side's along the top. And we're going to cut another one at 4 1/4. This is 1N. So stack of ones. And there's a couple of ways we can cut this next one. Let's go ahead and keep this paper in our trimmer the way it is, and we're going to cut it at 3 1/4. Okay, 3 1/4. And then take that piece that you just cut and flip it to where the long side's along the top, and we're going to cut it down to 3 1/4. So you're going to have a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 piece. That is 1O. 1O. And this little piece that came out is, let me check something real quick. Let me check something. So it is in the instructions. Let me just show you why I'm pausing there for a moment. In your instructions, the next piece is supposed to be cut off of this other piece, this other larger piece that's left. But I'm not going to do that, okay? Because we can save this big piece. So I'm going to make an executive decision right here and now. This piece that got trimmed off, that basically is this little scrap piece right here. that's this piece right here. We need a piece that's 2 3/4 inches long by 1/2 inch wide. You can use this piece, okay? This piece, this scrap piece is large enough to do that so that we can save that other big piece and not cut into it. Hope that makes sense. So let's do this. That piece that we just cut off, let's cut it down to 2 3/4 inches. So put the long side along the top and cut it down at 2 3/4 inches, and then flip it to where the short sides along the top and cut it down to 1/2 inch. To 1/2 inch. Okay, so you're going to have a piece that's 1/2 inch wide by 2 3/4 inches long. This is 1P, 1P. And this little piece that came off and this other little piece, those are scraps. Those are scraps, as well as this large piece that we saved from getting cut into, and this other piece here as well. Okay, yay, got good scraps. All right, so the next piece we're going to be cutting is our piece of Mocha, which is the really dark piece here. That's part of our kit, and we're going to be cutting the dark side. So let's make sure we're on the dark side, which we are. That's the dark side. There is only just a couple of cuts on this one. So let's get our paper and our trimmer, and the first cut is going to be at 5 5/8 of an inch. All right. Y'all know the drill. Where's your 5/8 inch? Your 5/8 inch is the mark, the big tick mark between your half. So that's at 5 1/2. Show you there. And your 5 3/4. So your 5 3/4 right there. It's that tick mark, that large tick mark. That's your 5/8. So let's cut it at 5/8 of an inch all the way down on the dark side. And let's turn our paper long ways to where we're going to cut it down to 9 1/4 inches long. 9 1/4 inches long. So this piece, it's 5 5/8 by 9 1/4 is 1D. 1D. This piece that came off is scrap. And then let's get our paper back in our trimmer again. And we're going to do it again. 5 5/8 inch all the way down. Turn your paper where the long sides along the top and cut another one at 9 1/4. So the second piece is 1K. Stack of ones. This piece is scrap, as well as this long piece of Mocha here. Scraps. Yay, we're almost done. We have one piece left. And that's going to be your Harbour cardstock, which is, you've got 3 pieces of Harbour. We're only going to be cutting into one. And there's just a couple of cuts on this one. So we are almost done. We are almost done. And let's see. We're going to be cutting on the dark side. So let's make sure we're on the dark side. So the back side is the dark side. There you go. Dark side. And our first cut is going to be at 6 3/4 of an inch. 6 3/4 of an inch, all the way down. Then turn your paper where the long side is along the top and cut it at 6 3/4 inches. So this 6 3/4 by 6 3/4 is 2D. 2D. Stack of twos. And your paper, keep your paper in your trimmer, and then let's cut this piece down to 4 1/2. 4 1/2. And this piece that's 6 3/4 by 4 1/2 inches is 2K. So stack of twos. And y'all get this. This piece that came off and this other big piece of Harbour, that is scraps. Scraps, scraps, scraps. And that's it for your cutting, your cardstock for your kit. The other 2 pieces that you should have left are the other 2 pieces of Harbour. And don't cut into those because those are going to be used on your layouts. And let me see which one it goes to. Those other two pieces of Harbour are going to be on project 3. So if you want to put that in your stack of 3s, you can do that. You can do that. And other than that, that is it. I don't see any other instructions that need to go. So hopefully that helps. If you have any comments you want to make on this video, make sure you put them in the comments down below, and I'll take a look at those. And hopefully this video was helpful to you for cutting. Even if you don't use this particular pattern paper or cardstock, it's still a great layout for your own favorite paper that you can use. So if you have another set of paper you want to use, you can still use these same instructions to put these layouts together. So if you want to join me, like today is March 30th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be doing project 1, both pages. And so you can see them put together. So make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Or you can also watch on Facebook. I stream to both platforms at the same time. But other than that, thank you. And we'll see you on the next video.